Welcome to Bogside Chats, where we're talking everything DeFi Kingdoms and keeping it casual. My name is Matty Pesk. I am joined by Franz and Guy Kid. Boys, how we doing?
Geez, we had two AMAs today. You can't get more excitement than that. Where,
Hey, I'm
where are we?
excited. I'm excited.
Yeah,
That's Maddie's excited voice.
you gotta show us
Yeah,
the hype. Show us
it's
the hype.
my podcast voice.
Oh, okay. No, it's good. I swear. No, I'm doing great. A lot to cover today. Guy, how are you?
A little nervous we won't be able to keep this under an hour, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, there were. Today is September 22nd, officially fall, right? Yeah, I think it's today.
Yesterday.
There were two AMAs on Thursday, which is today. In the morning, there was one with David Shin of Klaytn, and then later in the day, there was the regular one with the team. We're going to talk about the later one, and there's a lot of stuff they went over: xJewel, xJewel, Duels, a whole bunch of fun stuff. But in the morning, the one with the Klaytn, his title is head of the global group. He came on and he spoke with Bolon and Frisky and Dreamer, and he gave kind of his background. He's like a crypto OG. He was in from like 2012. He was talking about all these deals. Like he was selling Ripple to like VCs before anybody knew what crypto was. Like he's got some really cool stories. Um, I highly recommend everybody go at least read the sandwich breakdown of it. But if you can listen to it, it was very interesting. What'd you guys think?
Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought he was very well spoken, very knowledgeable. Um, seemed obviously to know what he's talking about, but seemed very passionate about Klaytn and about their relationship with DFK. Um, I thought one of the cool things that I wasn't aware of is that there are AAA games on Klaytn today.
Yeah.
That was really cool. He mentioned Nino Kuni is one of them. Apparently, it's the third most downloaded app on their app store. He said app. I don't know if he meant game or if.
Or DAP,
It
maybe.
might be a mobile game.
Well,
Or
no. So
yeah.
he said it's an app in the sense of you wouldn't know that you're connected to Klaytn.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Um, so we might have checked that out. And then Mir 4 was the other one that was mentioned. We don't know too much about these, but the idea that AAA games are, using Klaytn in some capacity is, really cool.
Yeah, and I feel like this just brings the DFK ecosystem up to another level. He was so polished. He's clearly so well connected in the industry, that I think it's going to open a lot of doors for the future DFK. There were a couple of things he kept repeating throughout the AMA too, of like connecting the East with the West, which is a really interesting opportunity in the crypto space as well as the um crypto gaming space as well. And then he kept referring to the relationship with DFK as more of a marriage than
Mm,
a dating process. So like
love that.
they very much have a long-term view and what they're doing with DFK. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, hopefully there was no prenup signed there. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty good joke there.
I thought that was great. Go on.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I think it was a lot of hype. There's not a lot for us to speculate on it. I will say one other thing I thought was really cool was that he had a background in kind of traditional finance. He worked a little bit in like Barclays and Goldman Sachs and like all these other like banking stuff, and then moved on to like crypto full time. So I think it's kind of cool that he had that experience.
Yeah.
You laugh? Were you laughing at me? I
I
saw
was,
you
I was
laughing at me.
laughing as, banking stuff.
Yeah,
Just, banking stuff.
exactly.
He was a bank teller. Yeah. Um, no, he was very impressive. He seems passionate about the relationship and about where things can go. One thing that I thought was really interesting as far as expansion, right? Because it said head of global group on the AMA page, but when you go to his page, yeah, guy has it up on the screen. It's head of global adoption, which I think sounds a little bit better.
Yeah.
Nobody was talking about how they're looking towards Japan as kind of an
Mm,
expansion place, and how Latin America and India are obviously very big markets, but they don't want to just jump blindly into those markets. So it sounded like I don't know. In crypto, I feel like we get a lot of hype men that are like, yeah,
yeah.
we're going to do this and we're going to do this next. And it's great. But he seemed a little bit more realistic than that, which
Exactly.
I
Well, I mean,
liked.
that's what it
He
reminds me of.
sounds like he's having a lot of real conversations though,
Exactly.
Hmm.
with a lot of networks and a lot of different groups.
Yeah.
That's where that like traditional finance background I think comes in, of like being more realistic and not just kind of everybody always says this stuff like Ethereum can change the world and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's really cool technology, but we need people that can like practically do stuff, and this guy sounds like he can do it.
Yeah. One more point about that.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of bridging into more of the DFK focus stuff. So they are going to be at a conference in Singapore,
Mm.
I believe next week.
Are we going? Is Bugside Chats
Yeah,
going?
we're gonna go. No, we're not. Well, I'm not. You guys, I don't know. And I'm looking for the name. It was called Token. Does anyone have it handy?
I
Because
thought it was
I have
called
no.
2049, something like that.
Token 2049. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Um, yes, Token 2049 in Singapore.
Yeah.
And something that Dreamer mentioned in the second AMA is that one of their goals while there is to talk to some of the other projects that are up on Klaytn right
Mm.
now and discuss some form of integration into the DFK
Right. Yeah, that was cool.
ecosystem. So, that goes back to that metaverse idea, but just the idea of partnerships, more partnerships, better partnerships, and ways of kind of increasing value. So,
Yeah.
excited for that. Hope that goes well for them.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they'll hype it on their social media and talk about how it went.
Yeah.
As we're U.S. based, so we're not going to Singapore, unfortunately. But that is a good segue to talk about the AMA that the team had later on in the afternoon on today on Thursday. They went through a whole bunch of topics. Kind of went on a couple deep dive on a couple things that I didn't expect them to really go so deep on. But up top, one of the biggest issues right now that they talked about was the gas. The gas prices, not prices, but the gas levels changing for in-game transactions.
Hmm.
I also want to say very, very, I've said this before a million times, I'm not very crypto savvy. So like you guys are going to have to step up here and cover me, because
What?
I lost a lot on this, because there was a lot of technical stuff in this, which was all good info. But I was like, what? So
Well,
you guys are gonna have to help me out.
yeah. So before we get into it, I think a lot of what they said I liked, and I think I subscribed to a lot of what they said too. So, I mean, I think that's a good time to let everyone know that they should like and subscribe to the
I
pod.
see what you did there.
Oh,
Um,
great
we'd really
segue.
appreciate that. Leave a comment. Let us know what we're about to say wrong with some of this more intense
Yeah.
crypto stuff. Um, No, but so I mean, we're kind of burying the league. The DFK chain was down last night for about a
Right.
half
Yeah.
hour.
Well, but it was
Um,
quick, so it wasn't like a big
it
deal.
was quick. They did say that it was having to do with C chain making some updates earlier in the day, so it didn't seem like it was something where the volume kind of
Um,
grinded it to a halt or something like
aren't
that.
there other subnets? Were the other subnets down as well?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, but it sounded like it
Someone
was.
can leave a comment and let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Krabata has a subnet as well, and
What I was
I
thinking.
don't know who else does at this point. But yeah, it sounded like there were some updates made to the C chain, and that's what kind of led to this. But it was fixed quickly. But more than that, the gas. They talked a lot. Magnus talked a lot about how they're kind of still experimenting with the gas, and they proactively raised it to see kind of how that would change the ecosystem, I guess, or the network is the best way to say it. They're trying to find that kind of even space between making it beneficial enough for the validators while also low enough in terms of US dollar for the users, right? So I think right now it's on the higher end, where I've seen some people complaining that it's not totally worth questing currently. Have you guys been feeling that at all?
On Crystalville? No.
I mean, it's up to like I've seen some with like 0.05, 0.06 Jewel.
I haven't seen it that high. I've seen like 0.02, but that's still pretty high compared to like a couple weeks, like not a couple weeks, like when it first was getting going. I mean, we were talking like crazy decimals for the Jewel, but I mean, I've definitely seen an increase.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't have thought to stop questing. I don't know if that was people just kind of trolling, or if anyone's actually like, "Oh, I'm not doing this right
Well, I
now."
feel like it would only be an issue with like a massive wallet,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Okay,
because
so
we're still talking
Well,
about
it all kind of
fractions
scales, and that's what
fractions
they.
of a penny, right? Yeah.
But that's what they mentioned too. If the quest rewards are less than the cost of transaction, then people aren't going to quest, or at least they
Sure. Yeah.
shouldn't from a sheer finances
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
But Dreamer did say in the AMA that like quest rewards are still well above the
Yeah.
the cost of a transaction. But obviously, it's cutting into margins, and it's like,
yeah,
you know,
and
do you
so
really want to be paying the most extreme version of microtransactions just to play the game?
yeah, and I should have prefaced it where I was seeing a lot of this kind of feedback was in the DFK chat on Discord for
Okay.
subscribers. So that when you say, "Oh, if it's a massive wallets," I mean, those are some pretty large
Those are the
wallets in
guys.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was adding up quickly. Two of my wallets that use the bot ran out of Jewel overnight, so I had to
Interesting.
stock them back up. Big whale over here, so
Mm.
whale problems, right?
Yeah. I don't think I'm me personally. It's never going to be an issue for me too, because also I put value in leveling. Like when I'm
Hmm.
doing training quests, you can't really put a price on that other than I think it's going to be valuable to have higher level heroes later on. So, what
Yeah.
is the value of a quest, dollar amount wise? I think it's hard to judge that.
Yeah, and that goes back to what Guy was saying, right? Where like there's the financial side of it, and there are people that are just looking for the
Yeah.
dollars and cents. Like we're here to stay. I
Yeah.
want the idea of my hero not progressing. It gives me
Yeah.
cold sweats.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
they need to keep going. So he did talk a little bit more about validators. They had a validator drop off the network on Monday. They have 8 total right now. And they've mentioned that they do want to make that more decentralized and open that up to more people. They've kind of said that over and over. We haven't gotten too much more information, except I believe we were looking into it, and it's 2,000 AVAX you need to stake in addition to some Jewel. So I think that's all we've gotten as far as kind of the parameters around that. But it's something that I think on surface value, a lot of people would say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to do that or give it a try."
Yeah, and this has also been mentioned in regards to guilds a couple times,
Yeah.
of a guild being a validator. And again, this is one of those things where I don't even want to speculate because you're approaching my max level of understanding crypto. So, I have no comment.
Well, no, I mean you can comment on the idea of guilds. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know
no, I think
how
that'd be
that would work
interesting. I
in, but
think I think the idea is you have to have a large stake to become a validator, and if you were able to pull it together as a guild, um, and
Does
ideally,
that all tie into the whole almost like feudal system,
yeah, that'd be
decentralization
cool.
ecosystem
Yeah,
of like at the end of the day, the guilds and all of the validators run the ecosystem of DFK. And you've got these governance tokens and you got all these other things going on too.
yeah,
yeah,
if you have to run a validator in addition to owning land for a guild, the price of starting a guild does get up there.
Right.
I always got that it would be an option, not a requirement. That this validator thing was like something that was
Yeah,
available, but not a requirement.
I
Although
don't
that
know.
would be interesting if it was a requirement for a guild.
Yeah, Frisky's had some
Uh,
comments that have made me think both sides of that argument in the past. So I don't know if he's totally
I
sure.
doubt. So, all right. So in effect, that would mean you'd have to have a bag that was X amount, whatever that amount was, to be a guild. And I don't think they want to do that because I think that would really hurt the everyday players because they would just not be able to participate. You know?
Well, no, I think you're kind of separate the starting a guild and being part of a guild because you wouldn't need this to be part of a guild. This is
Agreed.
as far as running and kind of owning the guild.
Right. All right. Sure. But like your everyday player would never be close to any leadership of that guild if you had to have a bag to start it.
I mean,
Think of the different types of guilds. Think of the different types of governance groups. Like you could have a democratic guild that you could literally have 1,000 people all chipping in to run a validated together.
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
I don't think you need ownership to be like if you're strategically very good at the game, the owner of the guilds is going to be like, well, you have no money in this, so get the hell out of here. You know, it's people can find their voice. People can find their voice within a group at different levels. Is
if you have to be a validator, you have to be this big whale to start a guild, and then you run the guild. What if you say like, oh, guild, membership fee is X amount to even be part of this guild, and it's my way or the highway, and there's only so many guilds. I mean,
think everything
that's not. They don't want that. I don't think.
Right, but I think everything we know about the DFK community is there will be enough guilds that are well run that people will want to join.
All right. The whole point I'm making is I really doubt that being a validator will be a requirement of a guild.
Which is fair. We went down a tangent.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, let's get back on track here.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of governance tokens, hold on. Before I jump to that, because that was kind of a bigger issue. Let me check.
Are you going to xJewel xJewel?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to go to. Duels xJewel now. Yeah, there was a couple other little notes. They gave some shout outs to our friends, ADFK. You know, some new people were on. You know, DFK Earn got added to the archivist.
Yeah, Expert as well.
Yeah.
DFK Fight Klub, which we've talked a lot about. DFK Arena. Yeah. So congrats to all of them.
Right.
It's
awesome. Yeah. Well, let's go into the Duels xJewel, and this is another conversation where I struggled. There's been a big push and a lot of talk about what is going to happen to xJewel, and a lot of the community is kind of asking, you know, what do I do, or how do I move my xJewel? Do I have to transfer it back to Sarandale and then move it around? So they kind of went through it. You guys got to help me out here. You know, what did this mean?
Well, yeah. So, and I think we're skipping around a little bit.
Sorry.
We sometimes no, you're good. But we sometimes miss current events on this pod because we get right into the the conversations. There were more things that shut down on
right. Yeah,
Sarandale. And that's what's kind of leading to this is as more things shut down, as we get closer to Crystal Vale parity, and we're only a few items away from parity at this point. You know, the concept of Harmony being totally gone comes up, and xJewel is native to Harmony, right? xJewel being the coin that you get when you stake Jewel in the bank, or in the jeweler now. So what they're doing, they can't migrate that xJewel and kind of take it away from its home. So what they're going to be doing is you're going to have to, at some point, probably, I think Frisky said in the coming weeks,
he said weeks, not months.
Right. You'll have to send that back from Crystal Vale to Sarandale and trade it for Jewel.
Wait, I have a quick question here. Can't you do that in the trader currently in Crystal Vale?
I guess you can. I think he was just saying more like whoever ends up with it's going to eventually have to go back to Harmony. And what's going to replace it, pretty cool. It's the same concept of that stake token that's going to have kind of that ratio that goes up. But instead of xJewel, it's going to be cJewel, as in Crystal Vale Jewel, and sJewel, as in Sarandale Jewel. for the Sarandel 2.0 over on Klaytn. So it's going to work the same way. It just needs to kind of be changed out. And one thing that he was saying that was pretty cool, I thought, they can't just like nuke xJewel. Like it's always going to live on Harmony, just like the decks. They can't shut down the decks. Like the decks, they're going to stop updating it. It's going to stop really being, but the DFK decks will always live on Harmony. So thought that was cool. I think the key takeaway as far as strategy or gameplay is that the ratios are going to start over 1-to-1. So
so jumping in on the ground floor
Yeah.
will be a little bit more exciting, right? Or not a little bit more. But
I mean, it's like what happened with your X Crystal day one.
yeah.
And what's that at now? Like it's this is meant to be like a quick growth play at the way these grow at. I mean, Crystalville's been along for how long now, and one crystal trades, or one X Crystal trades to 1.56 crystal.
Yeah.
So a little over, so what is that, 56% gain if you put in day one?
Correct.
Back in February?
Yeah, call it 6 months.
All right.
So solid.
Not great, but yeah, it's something. And, there are things with governance too. And the other thing he mentioned was that, they've talked airdrops in the past for xJewel, or I guess now C and SJewel holders. But also, and I'm looking for it. One thing that you mentioned, I want to get your takes on this because I kind of hated it. He said there could be an experience bonus for staking a certain amount of xJewel.
I hate that.
Good.
Wait, like for your heroes? For your heroes.
That's the way I took it.
Oh, no.
So the Klaytn guy said as well in his comments about different ways to replace play to earn was like stake to play. And I think that goes in line with what Hubert's saying too, of stay invested in the ecosystem and you'll get perks as you play in the ecosystem.
Right. This was as part of the idea of I kind of singled that out and made it seem like it happened in a vacuum, but it was as part of this discussion of a Game Pass type scenario, the idea of your staking, unlocking different things. But Hubert specifically said XP bonus, and to me that just embodies pay to win.
Yeah.
Like that's the most.
Because I remember I heard him saying the stuff of like maybe some travel, like fast travel, or other maybe skins or some achievements or visual or aesthetic stuff like that. I'm fine with all that stuff as a Game Pass and as like if you stake more, you get a fancier hat.
And
I'm fine with that.
Big
but like,
delineation of like give people cosmetics for payment, the Fortnite model. Give people like ease of play, ease of use, kind of lifestyle improvements for payment as well.
Yep.
But don't let someone buy a victory.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree a little bit. I think there needs to be a little more incentive than just aesthetics. I think any of these things are going to be a form of pay to win. I mean, the game itself is a form of pay to win. But to me, an experience boost is just such blatant pay to win that it's like it's a little bit a bridge too far.
Yeah.
It depends on like, can you put some limitations? Can you put caps on it? Like you can make sure you could have it so that it doesn't completely break the ecosystem. But it's a way almost, if you look at it almost through the lens of it's a way for a new player to jump into the game and catch up to the people that have been playing the game for 6-9 months and maybe let their new ramp be a 3-month time frame versus the 9-month time frame. I could see something like that being appropriate, especially if we get to a point where, hey, at what point are we all going to hit level 100 too? Where it kind of becomes a moot point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
I feel like that's far in the future, but
yeah,
it is. And I mean, are we sure that it'll stop at 100? I mean, I've played games where,
I think
there's a cap and then they release more.
The way the docks are built, the plan is 100, but I think that's where you were saying of maybe there's expansions that get you to 110.
Sure.
Yeah. So kind of going off of that, another thing that was touched upon in terms of dark summoning.
Mm-hmm.
The question was asked, how dark summoning, if they've kind of considered the way that dark summoning affects the current class of heroes. And at first, I wasn't sure if you were kind of understood the question the way it was being asked, or like really got the point that the author, the questioner, was trying to make. He went into like, you're going to be sacrificing heroes, and we're going to make sure that it's not too big of a bonus, and all that's fine. I'm sure that they're going to balance everything appropriately. But I think the point of the question was, every hero that's been summoned up until this point has a certain kind of grade of its stats, of
They've got a
its
stat grid. Yep.
right. And now all of a sudden, and it's the same thing when Stones came out. I think we made the point on this podcast that every hero
From
summoned
here
in the
on out.
future
Yeah.
has the opportunity to be stronger. You're kind of screwing the holders of current heroes to an extent.
Correct. And I feel the same way
Well,
about dark summoning too. I think we've had a couple interesting conversations within the community about like what dark summoning could look like. I think my favorite idea so far about dark summoning was more stats day one that erode back to the linear time frame that a level 10 dark summoned hero is the same stat grade as a level 10 normal summoned hero.
Is it worth it then?
wait,
It
so
could
it'd
help in the
be
short term for stuff of like a
so they would
beefier
be.
level 1 that
Oh, that's what I was
grows at
saying.
a
Okay.
slower rate.
So I
Yeah,
was gonna say they'd be beefier, lower levels, but why would you want that?
Right.
it would
Yeah.
definitely help for a certain tournament that we're going to talk about later in the show. But no, I think that's really interesting. But under the
Why?
current
I feel like that's a waste of time.
right, under the current state of the game, I don't think that's really an incentive. Once we get
Agreed.
to a place where there's PvP, where there's
Yeah.
PvE, where there's a set of different quests and interesting things that you can do between those levels, then yes, it makes sense. If I can
Well,
get through the first few caves easier, yeah,
Do you
maybe I do it.
guys think a dark summon hero should just be the same hero and maybe you also get items from the summoning?
no,
Mm,
I think it should be. I think it should be better odds, better percentages of getting a class you want if you're burning two specific classes. You know what I
so
mean?
so you're increasing the odds, but you're not giving that kind of bonus that the stones are giving in your scenario.
Yeah.
Still
Or
the
you
same
can maybe
hero
you can
at the
add
end
a
of the
stone.
day.
Maybe you could add a stone to the dark summon. You know.
Hmm.
But like I would rather guarantee myself a ninja by killing one of my monks and one of my pirates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in that scenario, the end hero, the product isn't any stronger than any other
Exactly.
ninja. I like that a lot, actually. You're
But now we've burned, and then also same, so forth and so forth
it,
is ninjas and
yeah.
summoners, et cetera, et cetera.
I
Now,
mean, you're gonna
granted, like yeah, not much, maybe like plus 10%, and then so then maybe
seems like a lot. I mean, it's gonna have to be a scale, but depending
yeah,
on what you
exactly,
burn.
yeah, exactly, to going up.
Yeah, the only thing that I would caution there, and I think I heard in your voice you were kind of figuring it out too, is
The
that like,
dread, yeah,
yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna have so many more dread knights, so many more
exactly, yeah,
sages and
yeah.
dragoons that it kind of waters down that pool.
Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
Smarter people
Every
than me
decision
can figure
comes
that
with
out.
trade-offs, right?
Yeah.
yeah, the idea of just getting additional items in addition to the summon, to me, that you could take the summoning part out of it. Then it could just be burn heroes for items, which I mean, it solves the issue
Yeah.
of hero population. I don't love it, but like any of these scenarios lowers the amount of heroes out there and makes ours more valuable by comparison. So like I'm okay with
Oh,
them.
yeah. I also think it would be interesting if the amount of summons that the heroes you're burning has some sort of effect.
I think it
I don't
will.
know what, but like, if you're burning somebody who's at 0 of 0,
Hmm.
it's not going to be as big a bonus as if you're burning a 10 of 10.
Yeah, I mean, because that's where right now, where does the hero value derive from? The rarity, the
Yeah.
And
amount
the
of
summons.
summons, and then like any stat or class
Or
alignment.
getting the
You know,
matching
like
profession.
the summons is a big part of hero value.
Yeah.
Um, depending on what you're using them for, but I think you know what I mean there.
Do you
So,
think? And I know we're going on random tangents a lot this episode,
yeah,
but
it's fine.
will Gen Zeros? They're going to be banned from Dark Summon, right?
Oh no, you can't. I think they've already said that. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, what would happen?
Well, enough have there. How many guy you were talking about this? Not recently, so you probably don't have the numbers handy. But at one point there were like 250. Or go to the tavern and just tell me, or catalog and just tell me how many level 1
Oh,
Gen
like
Zeros there
they
are.
haven't been touched. Like nothing's been done with
Yeah.
them.
So that's essentially the same thing. I think it might have
They're
been Mean
burned,
Machine.
basically.
It
Yeah.
might have been Mean Machine in the ADFK Discord, and sorry if I'm giving credit for somebody else's comment to him, but that was saying that there are a bunch of Gen Zeros that haven't even been hatched yet from the Crystal Veil raffle. Like
Oh,
people were awarded the Gen Zeros and they just never did anything with them.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well, that's like the. Do you remember that Gods Unchained story? The Gods Unchained is a crypto trading card game. They raffled off a 1 of 1, this like super rare card, or they did 3 of them, 3 separate 1 of 1s, and the other 2 sold for like close to like $40,000. But one of them was sent to a wallet. The guy never, I don't know the guy, but the person never responded. The wallet never moved it. It's just still sitting in that wallet and hasn't been touched or claimed. And it's like
wild.
$40,000. Yeah.
Somebody signed up for a raffle
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Crazy.
like why? Yeah, why do you have Gen Zeros sitting there with no summons and level 1?
Well, it comes back to kind of the more macro crypto conversation of like how many lost bitcoins are there out
Oh
there?
yeah,
How many people lost them in a boating
right.
accident?
Yeah. What's the? Yeah, there's like that urban legend of like there's a laptop in a landfill somewhere. Like,
Yeah. Every so often, one of those stories pops up on
yeah,
mainstream media saying like if he has 3 more chances to guess his password,
yeah.
or it's all gone. Yeah. So there's always going to be stuff like that. So I don't think they
Yeah,
would ever add to the burn rate of a Gen Zero population.
yeah. Well, you couldn't. It would mess with
The numbers.
yeah, it would mess with the economy too much.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so that's some Dark Summon stuff. They talked about that. Let's move on to some other topics that they were um, mentioning. A big thing they talked about and that Frisky got really in depth with was duels.
Yeah.
So he talked about kind of the success of season 0 and like what they want to change and some additions they want to make for season 1 in Crystal Vale. I mean, Franz, this is all you. Like you're the duel guy. So what did he
Talking too
say?
much this pod. All right. So yeah, no. So he one thing that I thought was cool that he mentioned, Duels Season 0 burned 100K jewel, and
Yeah,
100K jewel were sent to the quest fund.
right.
So that's great. That's to me Jewel doing its job. I'd love to get more, and I maybe shouldn't even bring it up because I don't remember the guy's name, but there is someone on Twitter that puts out a great
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
duels/raffles like analytics page. He does it a lot. We'll try to find it and link it. But it's good info. But yeah, so season 0 burned 100K cents quest fund. There are going to be airdrop rewards for season 0. Some of the things that Frisky mentioned, and it didn't seem like it was a set list yet, but he mentioned, how many duels you fought being something for an airdrop, highest scores, win-loss ratio,
Hmm.
and then he hit us with an etc. So one of the one of the items in that etc. that he's mentioned before was also the rank. There's that rank 1,
Right.
rank 2.
Yep.
My highest was rank 2. I tried very hard at the end to get to rank 3, and it was just beyond me, and it got very frustrating with the harmony issues. So I gave up. But so some airdrops coming there. Hopefully some. I'm hoping like some new items, maybe something we haven't seen before that would spur up a little excitement. I don't know if that's just wishful thinking.
Well, there's still a whole tier of stones and well, I guess they're out there, like the greater, right?
Yeah.
We haven't really seen those,
Well, so the only way I think that those got dished out was the Gen Zero rerolls. I think that was the only opportunity to get
Right.
those.
They're not in
the higher
PJ?
end of PJ.
I think they might have been in PJ
Maybe
too.
higher end of PJ as well. That's a good point.
But more of
very
those
rare.
getting involved, I think that'd be cool because those are some cool items that
That'd be cool, but it's more the same. Like I feel like
some of those are really impressive.
No, they are, and I don't mean to diminish their
Yeah.
kind of importance or their coolness, but I want to see something like an experience booster item, or maybe I know we're not at equipment yet. I do think this is wishful thinking though, because they have their hands full with the parody stuff. Like I don't think they've been just secretly creating items in the background, but I don't know. What else about duels? He mentioned that they're going to be changing the frequency of the raffles a little bit, and they may even do a monthly big raffle with
this was
very
cool.
big prizes. He said maybe even a Gen Zero potentially. That
That'd
would be
pretty
wild.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
people with that, you want to incentivize people to duel. There would be quite a few raffles being thrown into that one.
That would be very interesting, and it'd be very interesting to see what I mean. I don't even know if this is information we can get, but what's the average amount of raffle tickets people are putting into that? Because I imagine there'd be some people just dumping raffle tickets into a Gen Zero raffle.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's Whale City. I mean, they're going to be just running those nonstop and throwing everything into that. I mean, I think a lot of people, even not whales, would be throwing every raffle ticket they get into there.
Yeah.
Which
and
accomplishes the purpose of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be a very cool idea if they did something like this.
Yeah, and we might not just be grinding duels to get these raffle tickets, because he did also mention that shortly after season 1 starts, DFK Fight Klub and DFK Arena are going to be getting those raffles. So that's awesome. And if you're not in DFK Fight Klub, get in there now. We're doing a lot of fun stuff with tourneys, along with the ADFK guys, along with Tylis, who runs that. It's great time, and there's really a community starting to develop in there, which I'm a big fan of. So soon you'll be able to get raffles for it too.
Yeah, I think that would be very cool, and I think that'll just bring more people and more eyes to these, third party, especially, DFK Fight Klub is kind of our favorite here, and getting more people involved will just make those tournaments and those battles more fun.
Yeah, and shout out to DFK Arena, because we definitely don't give them as much love, but like they were first on the scene. They are building, based on an interview I heard with their founder a while back on Inner Grove with Sandwich Punch. They're looking to expand into a suite of more games based around DFK. So I hope they keep doing it, and
that's very cool stuff.
Excited to see what they kind of come out with.
Yeah. Very cool. So that was Duels. What else did we have on here? I kind of bounced around. I bounced around, so our agenda's all thrown off now.
So as far as parody and what's in the works, the multi-quest kind of.
Oh yeah, they said that's
tweeted that out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that should be soon.
They're working on it.
They said the pet bridge is in the works. They said Stone Carver should be soon. So those are all. I mean, that's it as far as end duels. Once that stuff's out there, we are at parity. And then it's full steam ahead. The one thing that they talked about adding that I really kind of hated, not anything against the team that I hated, I just hate that they even have to be thinking about this, because it kind of seems like a distraction. But they were mentioning a land bridge to get land safely over from Harmony to Klaytn.
And it just sounds exhausting too.
Right, and it's like, so
the reasoning.
So that's what Frisky went into. Way to pay attention during the AMA.
I told you I don't know crypto.
Yeah, I don't land. No, but so he was saying that there are issues there, because once the snapshot happens, if someone could sell it, even if they sell it like off the market to someone personally, like it kind of opens up the community to potential scams. So they want to avoid it.
Yeah,
I feel like if they can just, like, there aren't that many out there. Even if you do it as like a 1-by-1 collection type of thing. You know, where like they have people check in with their land and they kind of, okay, send it to this address and like collect them back or something. I don't know. The idea that that the devs are gonna be spending time on a land bridge that's gonna be used once and then never gonna be needed again, when they could be spending their time building anything else. It's just a little frustrating. They have good intentions, so I'm not trying to get
No,
on
it's
them,
not.
but
It's not. Yeah, I think they genuinely care, and
It's an NFT that's on the Harmony network that they need to get
Yeah.
off the Harmony network, just
Right.
like anything else. And it's, you know, the people that own land are some of the highest
100%.
contributors in the
Yeah.
DFK ecosystem.
But how many pieces of land are out there right now?
I think there's
Is it
50,
50?
right?
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah.
lot.
I don't want to go back to the Harmony Bridge. I've
I
already
mean,
done the Harmony
yeah.
Bridge twice today. That's more than I want to do.
Yeah. No.
I
get
mean,
away from that.
again, I don't know the technicals, but can't you just like monitor the 50, and if they're like moved at all off the blockchain, like to a different wallet?
That's what France is saying too.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like there's easier ways to do
do
this.
handshakes with each person. And
Yeah,
move
exactly.
on.
Yeah, I think that would be easier and quicker. But props to Frisky because I feel like
Sure.
he is always concerned with the potential for people getting scammed. So, it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Speaking of guy not wanting to go back to Harmony, garden emissions did stop. So
Right,
everybody
yeah.
get your jewel off of there.
I moved mine today, and actually, I will complain a little bit. And we talked about this off podcast, but it's so annoying sending all the individual items. Like,
Yeah, I did that a while ago.
Like all my like eternal pages, like you have to do each one individually. It's just annoying. I mean, it's nobody's fault. It's just the reality of moving from one world to another one. But
yeah, that was a pain in the ass. There were definitely items that I sold rather than bridge.
Yeah, yeah.
But for the pages, it's more difficult to sell those
Exactly.
than to bridge them. So,
yeah. Well, I think that wraps up the coverage of the AMA. One more thing we want to talk about today. I'm very excited to talk about the ADFK guys. They announced it already, right? We're not like dropping the news.
No, we're not front running their announcement. They did it.
They are going to run, and we're going to be running it with them, a tournament or whatever. Run, maybe that's the wrong word, but a DFK Fight Klub tournament that is specifically for level 1 heroes. So
C9N has a chance.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody has a chance here because only heroes you can enter into the tournament are level 1 heroes. So basically, it's open to everybody. You're not going to get beat by some guy who's got level 15 heroes. It's very cool, and I mean, you guys have been more into it than I am. Like, what are the details? What's going on with it?
Yeah. I thought Guy was going to talk.
Nope, I'm opening crystals.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, you're summoning for a Dragoon right now? Awesome. Hope you get it.
We told you not to do that.
We said like, hey, let's not do it while we're in discussion.
Part of the entire podcast. Yeah.
And now I feel like we have to wait. You better get a monk now.
It's gonna be nothing.
It's a
paladin.
Oh,
all right. What profession? Foraging. Not great.
I'm editing this out.
Yeah, good, dude. No, so yeah, so they're calling it the Baby Cup. They're comparing it to like the 50cc in Mario Kart.
Right. Yeah.
So no, it's a really cool concept. I think it's going to be kind of as far as the rest of the format goes, it's going to be kind of similar to the past tournaments that we've done. As far as you can enter 6 heroes, you choose from that pool of 6 for every match, best of 3 each round. We're aiming sights a little bit higher as far as potential. How big the turn? Yeah, participants. Thank you. It's getting late now.
Yeah.
We're hoping for 64, and like honestly, at first when Raph said that number 64, I was like, oh, 64, like there's no chance. But the more I'm thinking about it, like
level 1.
I think like why wouldn't people hop in?
Who cares?
Level 1s, everyone has the same shot. Like yeah, there are going to be heroes that have lesser crystals used to summon them, but if you look for those on the market, they're a plenty out there.
Sure.
And the thing I love is, and I tweeted this out today, I bought a floor warrior with a crystal, or with a stone used on strength today, for 50 crystal. And it's not one that I'm going to want to keep afterwards. When this tournament's done, I'm going to sell it right back, and I'm going to get that same 50 crystal back. Maybe I'll even make a little money flipping it.
I was gonna say,
quite a few
if
higher.
you quest it a couple times, maybe you level it up and then sell it back.
That's a good point. Level it up after the tourney.
Sure.
You know, so like it's
Just getting to level 2 or 3 is super easy. So
right. So as long as you have $20 to put in, or $20 worth of tokens, probably not
Yeah.
even that much. You wouldn't even
No.
need. You can buy some heroes. You can sell them back, or you could start summoning and see what you get at level 1. But it's going to be a good time. The only hero that is banned is the Dread Knight, because the overpower ability that it has is overpowered for this kind of format. It
level
does
ones.
160
Yeah.
damage, which would be
Okay. Yeah.
a one-hit KO.
Yeah.
So they're ineligible. We're testing a few other heroes to make sure that it'll be fair, but you know,
Monk has a big blast too, right?
Monk has a big blast, but it takes 3 meter, 3 charge
So it has
to
to, like,
use it.
okay. I
And
see.
these games aren't lasting that long. That's the other thing. They're quick matches. I played a few with Corey and Pouring today,
Yeah.
and our finals participants from the last
Right.
tournament.
Yeah.
And it lasted 8 or 9 turns each game.
These
Right.
are this is like
And
level. You did level ones versus
Yeah, we
level
did.
ones.
Yeah, we did level ones. Yeah, because it's definitely a different meta, and I think, you know, moving forward, like we could do a level 3s only tournament, a level
it'd be
5s
cool.
only tournament. Like I think it changes the
Yeah.
meta each time.
Sure.
But the really exciting part is prizes. Guy, do you want to go into that?
Yeah, I heard about this.
Well, so even just entry fee, we're talking about 15 crystal a person. So if we're able to fill it up to a full 64, that creates a 960 crystal prize pool.
Damn.
So that alone's pretty juicy. Where first place is going to get 300, second place is going to get 200, third and fourth double their money, get 30. And then similar to what we did to the last tournament too, what we want to do is we want to get a bunch of prizes going into a raffle system too. So
Cool.
literally, if you play in the tournament, you'll get a chance to win multiple prizes. And you could get knocked out first round, and that's fine. You'll get a raffle ticket. How the raffle tickets will work, though, is every game you win will earn you an additional raffle ticket as well. So people that make it 3-4 rounds in will have a slightly better chance. You're talking about 3 tickets versus 1, so it's not super drastic. But so we've got that 300 crystal, so we'll do 3 separate raffles for 100 crystal each, which is pretty awesome. And then the ADFK team is going to put up their Gen 0 summon. So there's going to be a Gen 1 through ADFK. Franz and I are going to do a Gen 0 summon with our Archer and Thief as well for a chance of a Dark Knight Gen 1. Crypto Grady, cheers to him, is actually donating 3 different Gen 0 summons.
So awesome.
What a nut. This guy's crazy. 3?
In Crypto Grady fashion, I gotta say, yeah, baby. To that.
And then Sir Worm's been a huge part of the ADFK
that's awesome
community too. So he was seeing what we were doing in the last tournament, and he's like, you know what? Like we started giving away the raffle prizes. He's like, oh, I'll throw in a Gen 0 summon too. And was like, all right, we'll save that for the next one. But so we did get him in for this one, which is good.
That's super cool. And those are, I mean, again, we were talking about how easy it is to pick up like a couple level 1s and playing this thing. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and the prizes, like that's, we have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Gen 0 summons that we're raffling away, and then 300
a whole bunch of crystal. Yeah.
So that's gonna be 9 winners.
And that does even if you win or lose in the tournament, you're in the raffle for these things. So
yeah, but if you win, you do a little bit better. And again, there's no advantage here. Like there's no,
everybody's level 1s. Yeah.
Like there's not like, oh, I'm never gonna beat, you know, so and so. Like
exactly.
You know, King Bach is gonna join. I'm never gonna beat him because he has a level 20 freaking Dread Knight. You know, it just doesn't apply. So it's great.
That is super cool. I'm super excited. Do we have dates for this?
October 8th. So
Right.
that first
October 8th,
first
Friday,
day,
October
that
8th.
Friday,
Awesome.
there are guidelines as far as when round 1 should be done, when round 2
Sure.
should be done. But you know, we were talking, and I think early on it's going to be play as many matches as you can. You know, for at least the first 2 rounds, and then as things get smaller, it'll be more scheduled so that the bracket kind of takes shape in the right way.
Totally.
The DFK team is going to be streaming the semis and the finals on Sunday night.
Cool.
And there was talk about streaming during the day on Saturday and or Sunday. So,
Nice.
you know, May will do that. Maybe Grady will do that. Maybe Sergeant Filthy McNasty will do that. We'll see. A lot of people out there. So we're going to try to make it as much of an event as we can. So they've been getting better and better each tournament. So let's keep the ball rolling, you know?
Yeah. The hype is real. I'm excited.
The hype is real.
Yeah, and let us know if you've got a kind of tournament format in mind that you'd want to see. I think this baby cup is interesting, that it'll open the doors to a lot of other players, of people that might be discouraged that they don't have a Dread Knight or they don't have a full team of level 10 heroes yet. This opens the door to everyone. If you get another tourney suggestion that you think we should utilize, leave a comment. We're going to try to do at least a tournament a month, maybe 2 tournaments a month. And keep pumping these out and get.
So you're saying like maybe it'd be like one traditional one and then one like weird format one, right?
Yeah.
Like that'd be the
exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can get even more creative. We can do teams. We can do, you know, kind of like a Clash of Clans war kind of setup if that resonates with anybody, where you know everyone plays once and you know
you're
go from
like a
there.
Ryder Cup format.
Half-baked idea, as you could see, but
yeah. No, I get it. All right, very cool. So yeah, we'll be shooting out info on that on our Twitters and on social media. And if you're not part of the DFK Fight Klub Discord, 100% go check that out. We'll put a link to I mean, we've posted that link a million times, but we'll do it again.
Well, or just head to the castle, right?
Oh yeah, there you go. It's in the game.
Good point.
Exactly. Yeah, wow. We don't even need to send it out.
We got to start training ourselves to say this.
Yeah. Head to the castle and go check out DFK Fight Klub.
This is the first. I didn't click through it. Oh yeah, so it goes right to Discord. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Last thoughts. Last comments. Nothing.
I talk too much already.
You guys have to. When I do that, you have to say something. Just
you could have just rolled to the exit there. I think we
say something.
We
just say like
honestly,
read the room.
There was a good like 4 months that I hated it, but I think we're in a hashtag bullish stance right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's a good ending comment right there.
Is that I'm supposed to say bullish? Like I'm part of the team?
No. You're just like, you know. All right.
Bullish.
For Franz and Guy Kid, this has been Bogside Chats. My name is Matty Pesk. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
See ya.
Bullish.
Yeah, we can't do that. I mean, we can be bullish, but...
Yeah, no, we're not making that thing. I was making fun of you.
Oh, we're still recording.